Hi, this is Gail. I just wanted to give a little update around the homestead today. First, right there in front of you is a pomegranate tree. And this tree, I'll give you, it's actually flowering. And I actually need to plant it. It's in the pot. I have it just sitting in the pot. I had lemongrass growing, which actually came back several years, but we had a really hard freeze last year, so it didn't come back this time. So going on into the garden, I'll show you what I did around the edge. That's just cardboard laying there. It'd be better if it were covered with pine straw or something, but it's just to block the weeds. As you can see, we've got tall grass. Our lawn mower is down and we have parts on order. So this is a bittermelon right here. There's a little flower. And I actually didn't plant it. It came back up. It kind of took over the whole garden last year, and we don't eat that much of it. It's very good. It's very good for you. Ampalaya is another name, bitter gourd. This is a ripe fruit, and you can see the seeds there. They're just beautiful. So I've got a small little, I don't know why my husband put that little compost thing in here. The wind blew the lid off. So I got the bittermelon here. This right here, all that big stuff is jicama. And it's that tuber. It's one of those low-carb tubers that people on low-carb diets can eat. And it's got a few kudzu beetles on it. I did put some diatomaceous earth before. It's hard to tell where they are, but they look like a little helmet. It won't focus good on them, apparently. Oop, one fell off. I'm just slapping both off. And then this is moringa and horsetail right here. This has been in the pot for a long time too. I'm gonna have to come out here and pull this jicama off of it. So just kind of keep it nice and shady and grow in there. Now this jicama, the leaves and everything, if I recall correctly, are poisonous. The only part that's edible is the tuber, but it's really good. It's crunchy and crispy and kind of sweet. These are my cucumbers, and they're kind of at the end of their life, as you can see. I did pick 2 off yesterday. There's only about 5 plants, but I have had tons of cucumbers. This, I believe, is a jalapeno pepper. The tomato hornworms, it looks like a jalapeno, got on it and just ate it down. I mean, they ate the leaves, the fruit, everything. So it's finally coming back. I haven't actually harvested a pepper off here yet, but I've harvested a whole bunch of those tomato hornworms. This is my Thai chili. I was wondering what happened to it, and I found my little sticker. It's finally starting to, I love Thai food, but it's finally starting to flower here at the end of the season. So apparently it takes a long time to flower. I grew that one from seed. Here's more bittermelon. These are actually huge. I hadn't been out here picking them. But this is how you eat it. You can make them in little boats and stuff them like with fish or something, chicken. There's another ripe one hanging there. 2 ripe. The pigs, they won't eat it. It's so bitter, which mine aren't really that bitter, but they won't eat it until it gets really ripe, because the seeds are actually kind of sweet, the red seeds. There's a ripe one. I've got, just swing around here, some nasturtium growing there. And it got a little dried out. I didn't water it. It rained really good, so I didn't water it for a couple of days, and it got kind of dried out. And there's asparagus. It's already done for the season. This is a, what do you call that? Not dill, but I got it right here. Florence fennel. And it, you know, I probably should have planted that a little later when it's cooler. But it was kind of struggled all year. Some weeds I need to pull. And you see all the space I have. Well, the garden's coming to an end. I actually never planted this part. I put everything in, and I should have, I didn't want to put tomatoes because that's what I had in there before. And so I ended up leaving it blank. But what I'll usually do is keep extending my beans. Like I just plant 5 or 6 plants, and then a couple weeks later 5 or 6 more, and keep on doing it throughout. So you'll have continuous beans throughout the summer. Now these are my tomatoes. They're kind of all mixed up here. This is a black variety. I want to say it's black seaman tomato. I could dig down there and find it, but they turn red. I just picked yesterday, so I don't have a lot of ripe ones. But here's one that's turning, and then they'll just have a little black on them, and they'll be real red. But they make a beautiful salsa when you mix them up with some of the other ones. And I didn't pick for about 3 days, so you see a lot of dead ones on there. These two are getting at the end of their season. And I just heard yesterday on the All Thing Plants podcast that when they're done, or getting almost done, I had some other ones that weren't really good, and they were at the end of their season. I just pulled them up. But they said when they get done, to cut them down, they said find the first couple of little things down here and just cut them. So probably about here I'll try and cut it and see. And then they'll come back out. You can only do that like if you live in the south or something, because they'll have time to bear more fruit. But these are still so loaded, I don't want to cut them yet. They'll probably dry up before I do. But I think I'm going to take some cuttings off of these. You can just snip them like right here and pop that leaf off and pop that off. And then stick them in some soil, and they'll keep growing. As a matter of fact, I have some. I did look plenty like that. Now these are what you call indeterminate, so they'll keep spreading. And I don't know if you can see, but they're going up over the fence. The fence is about 6 foot high, and they're coming back on the other side. So the chickens are enjoying that. And here's another one, just like the other one. And then these are actually, I bought the plant. It's one of those Bonnie's Originals. It's getting towards the end of its life, too. It did okay. It did pretty good. Oh, I need to cut it back. You can see some on the other side are growing. And it's an indeterminate. I don't think I planted any determinate. This one is the mortgage lifter, and it's definitely getting towards the end of its season. I'm not getting that many now, but it's a pretty good tomato. I like tomatoes that aren't real watery, and it is kind of watery, but it tastes good, so I'll probably replant it next year. These are my favorite green bean, French forex green beans. And I just planted those, haven't harvested on those yet. And these were my bush beans that I had planted. I let these get too dry too. It rained, and I thought they had enough water, but I think they're just getting at the end of their season too. I didn't even pick them yesterday, so there is plenty of fruit there that's actually getting kind of old. So I'll come out today and pick them. These gnats are so bad right now. And then I have some more tomatoes. These are just some kind of cherry tomato. These are actually my favorite out of all of them. I do have a tag down there somewhere, but I'll look at it later. If I can find it, I'll put it in the notes. And they're doing good. I'll probably take some cuttings on these and then trim those back at the end of the season too. And then my eggplants, I just have the regular old eggplants here. And there's so many good uses for them. We've had good harvest off of these two little plants. I bought these. I don't know what happened to all the ones I seeded. I got a few strawberries over there and my comfrey. And what I've been doing with the comfrey is I cut it. I like to cut it before it blooms, because after you let something bloom, that's when it likes to die off. So I cut it and just lay the leaves around the plants, and then they'll dry up. If you cover them up with mulch, that'll work too. And they'll fertilize. They're like a long-term fertilizer. And I also have this wonderful aromatic thing in here, and that's my comfrey tea. It smells like ew. So what I do is just put like about a cup in there in my little watering can. I think it's 15 to 1 to 20 to 1 is the recipe. And water the plants with it. I've only done it once, and they seem to like it. This is horseradish. Oh yeah, they say comfrey is invasive. Well, this is the kind that doesn't sell seed, the Bocking 14. And so it's, you know, not really spreading, but I love it. I've cut it back twice, and it's come back. And the pigs love the leaves. The goats and sheep love the leaves. They're good for all kind of things. They're even good for like making poultices and skincare. And it's debatable. They say they're poisonous, but some people actually eat some of the roots, like for medicine, tiny bits of it. There's a little more horsetail right there. That's good for getting your silica. I believe that is my ginger. Oops, sorry. I planted from the grocery store. Another moringa tree that's been in the pot way too long. Right there, as you can see. And I have a turmeric too in the pot that I'll keep planning to put out here, and it's turned into the season yet. I still haven't done it. And these, everybody knows what these are, jalapenos, those two. So it's a pretty good little garden. I also have this stevia that came back from seed, and this is the perennial collard. I forget the exact name of it. I planted it from seed. The bugs are about to eat it up. I wouldn't grow collards in the south in the summer because you have to spray it. I don't spray anything. The only thing I use on my garden is diatomaceous earth. I put a little bit. I try to avoid it because we have bees, and it's not good for them. But I've got a few green onions that I just, from cuttings in the store, stuck them in the ground. There's one of those nice ripe ones right there. So anyway, that's my first little garden. And we'll walk over and look at some other things here. I've got a lot going on. I do have a, I don't know if you saw the long pointed tomato. It's a Roma tomato.